What's happening? It's Jeremy here, and in this tutorial I want to be showing you how to create this cool vintage text logo in Illustrator CC just using the basic type tools and some texture. You can create a cool nice lock up here. Which is looking pretty smick. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to create this and let's get stuck into it. So first up, you want to start with a font. Try and find some free fonts. You can go on Font Squirrel or DaFont to get them. I'm using a couple paid ones in this tutorial, but you can find some similar fonts. So press T for the type tool, left click once, and then I'm going to type Hustle Co with this full stop. And what I want to do, I want to pick a nice lettered font. So I'm going to click on my type tool here, my character on the right side. You can also do it up here as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm in my favorites and I'm going to pick a couple here. Left field brush regular. I like this one, which is super cool. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to make this uppercase and the co uppercase like that. Super nice. I'm going to drag this up. And I'm going to hold Alt and press the left arrow key just to bump in the kerning there. I'll scale this up a little bit. And this is looking cool. So I'm just gonna, I don't want to have a space, so I'm gonna do it without a space. And we have the basic of our logo and we're good now. So I'm just gonna duplicate that by holding Alt and just dragging it off the artboard there. I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna go to type and create outlines because we want to start to customize this font and not just leave it like this. So we'll go to create outlines there and it should turn all this into shapes. So you can see if I zoom in, they're all shapes now, which is pretty sweet. So what I want to do, I don't like this dot, it's too big. So what I'm going to do now is select it and scale it down. So I'll just left click on it and then I'll go to the corner and hold shift. I'm going to scale it down and then I'm going to bring it closer to the 0 there, or the O, which is looking cool. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to customize some of these letters. So you can see here, I don't like how there's this weird space here between the H and the U. So what I'm going to do is use my direct selection tool with the little white mouse. And I'm going to click and drag over this little top anchor point of the corner of the H on that crossbar. So what I'm going to do is click and drag it, and I want to bring it all the way up to that part of the U there. And you can see here I want to connect this as well. So I'll use this handle and just bump that up and drag the handle of this anchor point, and you can see I'll match it as much as I can just to make it connect. And then what I'll do, I'll use this bottom part and I'll drag it across as well, just like that, which looks super cool. So now we can have this connection. The thing is, when you do these custom type connections, sometimes some letters might not be readable. So what I do is I do a little bit of cuts as like an illusion or a shadow. I'll press P for the pen tool. I'll left click on this corner here. Make sure your smart guides are on, which is really crucial because it will help you snap to certain shapes. So you can see my smart guides are on and snap to point is on. So I'll press P for the pen tool, left click on this corner here. I'm just gonna go and roughly click halfway in the middle of that letter and then go about down a little bit. And then I'll zoom in and make the connection, and I'll make this white. So now you can see it's formed sort of this like shadow thing, and it's cutting into the U. So gives it a bit of an edge, makes it unique, a bit more custom. And the cool thing is I can always go back because I didn't destroy the letter. I can just go back and edit it as I want. So cool, that's looking good. Another thing as well is I don't like the end of this O. I would either cut this whole thing off and delete it like this, or I can edit the end here. So what I can actually do is select this end bit and round it off like that. But if it looks a bit too like round there, like too symmetrical, then I can customize a bit. I'll press P for the pen tool again, left click the corner, and then go and drag my own one here. I'll do this instead, like that. And we want to make sure that it matches, that it flows with this part of the shape as well as much as possible. So we can always like take it off. But what we can do is we can plus the two shapes together, and then I can round this corner off if I want. But for this tutorial, I'll just leave the shape there. So as you can see there, now we have this like little flick thing. So it's similar to the H there, and it's a bit more consistent. It's a little bit sharp, so I'll select it. And if you're in Illustrator CC, you'll see this little white ball. I'm gonna drag that in just to round it off a bit. Yeah, that looks fine. Maybe a little bit more. Cool. So I'm happy with that, and it's looking cool. Now what I'm going to do is add a different font. So I'm gonna go to my fonts. I'll go to another one of my favorites here, and I want like a vintage font. So you can see I've got a few here. Oatmeal's nice. There's also Trade Supply and Wheat. I think I did Wheat for this one. And I'm just gonna click and drag. I'll type 2019. I'm gonna bump up the size, so I'll hold Control Alt and the full stop button, and that should scale it up quickly. And then I'll do the same thing, but press the comma key and just to scale it down. So cool, I've got 2019 here. So it gives it that cool vibe, and also, you know, stating when it was established. And then I'll duplicate this font over here, and then I'll type vintage goods for creatives. Perfect. So that's awesome. Make it a little bit smaller, and I'll bump the kerning up by 1, holding Alt, and you can tap the right bracket. You can also go into your font here and use the keys here. The kerning is on 20, and you can see the size is 96. And I'm just placing it just under these two letters. So it's cool how these letters fit. So I've got this sort of shape here, and that's why I'm putting the type there. So it's not dominating, but it's a secondary type. This is the main text, and then we got this part. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna color it. So I want to press M for the rectangle tool. I'll drag a box on the artboard. The artboard is just 1080p for now. And then I'm gonna go and select one of these cool colors I have here. So I've got plenty of interesting colors here. They're sort of like a retro color. You can go on a site called Color Leap. In my other video, I show you how to use those other color palettes, which is pretty interesting. You can get them online. So I like this orangey brown color. I'm gonna go to this shape here. Now I'm gonna make it brown as well, which is pretty cool. I'll select everything, and I'll make it this cream color. Once again, I'll go to this shape. I can actually cut it off this U now. So I'll select it. I'll hold Shift and select the U. And what I'm going to use is the shape builder tool. So press Shift M after you've selected those shapes. I'm going to hold Alt. If you're on a Mac, it's obviously Option. And I'm going to click and drag and just minus that shape off. So now we don't have to use that shape anymore. It's just, it's cut out from the U. And then the shape over here, I can just leave that. That's still fine. I can plus it if I want, but that's totally cool. So yeah, there we have it. It's looking good. Then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab some textures. So you can see here, I grabbed the texture from a free texture pack. You can find heaps of textures online. And I've also got texture packs on Creative Market, which you can check out. It's just a simple text, dust grain texture. I'm going to bring it up to the front, and you can see there it's added some nice little speckles, little nicks in there, which just give it that extra roughness and grunge to it. And I can always, you know, lock that and always go back and edit some shapes. So I just saw this T, like maybe it could work like that. That's kind of cool. That works. And I can always play around with different colors. Maybe I want to make this blue like that. That looks nice as well. Maybe I want to make it gold. So all those color palettes work because they're complementary colors and they have good contrast. But yeah, I hope this tutorial was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, or if you want to see more logo design tutorials like this. Hit subscribe because I always upload tutorials and design content every week, especially if you want to grow in the creative industry. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.